Hello, you're watching English Buddhist Terminology, and the term which we're going to look at today will be karma. In life, we have many concerns and have to face different issues. Of all the issues that we have, we are most concerned with those relating to us. Of all our concerns, the biggest concern relates to our destiny. Each of us has a different opinion on the question of destiny. Some people, when face to face with hardship, will often complain bitterly about their ill fate. Others believe in destiny and that our circumstances, be they good or bad, are predetermined. Some people accept their difficult circumstances. Others are content with what they have. They are optimists and live carefree lives. Regardless of whether we find ourselves at a low point or up on the peak in life, we should not be passive and just accept our destiny. We should build our destiny. Now, what is destiny? What determines the outcome of our life? Can we really build our destiny? Destiny, explained in different ways, would include fate, fortune, or karma. And destiny may be explained or viewed differently from different perspectives. For example, the Protestant concept of predestination would say that destiny is something that is envisaged by the divine, while the American concept of manifest destiny believes it is the human will that will determine our destiny. Destiny may be seen as a fixed sequence of events that is inevitable and unchangeable, or that individuals choose their own destiny by choosing different paths throughout their life. The Buddhist explanation for destiny, on the other hand, would be the concept of karma. Karma is the Sanskrit term for action or deed. Karma is a universal law of cause and effect concerned with intentional deeds. All intentional deeds produce results that eventually will be felt by the doer of the deed. Actions or deeds are understood as something which will generate seeds, which will ripen and give rise to appropriate results when the appropriate time comes. Good deeds produce good karmic effects, and bad deeds produce bad karmic effects. When we say that a person has karma, we mean that that person's life is conditioned by the law of karma in such a way that his present circumstances may be understood to be results of his past behavior. The concept of karma is central to all schools of Buddhism and all interpretations of the Dharma. No one could probably understand Buddhism without fully understanding the concept of karma. Basically, there are three kinds of human karma. First, there is karma generated by body. Secondly, there is karma generated by speech. And then thirdly, there is karma generated by mind. All intentional acts of body, speech, and mind produce karmic results that will inevitably occur. And even a Buddha cannot change the law of karma. Karma works through cyclic repetition. A certain intentional act results in a certain karmic effect. And then this result is reacted to, which results in reactions which leads to another karmic result, and so on and on. Our lives are built upon our own reactions to conditions we ourselves have caused. And karma is what keeps an individual within the cycle of birth and death. It is also what determines the individual's liberation or emancipation from this cycle. The cycle of birth and death is a delusion that we ourselves cling to because we are not able to see above it. Therefore, not understanding the cycle means that you have not understood and you cannot or you don't understand how to escape such a cycle. But once the law of karma is properly understood, then it will lead to liberation from the cycle of birth and death. What do we mean by good or bad karma? When you talk about bad karma, it means an action or deed that harms other sentient beings. While a good karma means an action or deed that helps sentient beings or make them happier. Basically, bad acts produce bad karma. Very bad acts produce karma that is so bad it leads to birth in one of the three lower realms of existence, which are the realms of hell, ghosts, and animals. While good karma can result in rebirth as a human or even as a heavenly being. Once a Buddhist monk walked past a dead body, and next to this dead body was what we call a ghost, hitting the dead body, kicking at it, and swearing at it. So the Buddhist monk asked the ghost, "What had this person done to you in his previous life that makes you so angry?" The ghost replied, "This person was me. In my previous life, I had done nothing but bad. I had stolen, I had hurt other people, and I had caused misfortune in other people's lives. As a result, I had to be reborn as a ghost and suffer. That's why I'm so angry at myself. I wish I had never done such bad things. If this person had never done or never caused any of this bad karma, I wouldn't be a ghost right now." The Buddhist monk continued to walk, and this time he came across another corpse, another dead body. But this time, although there was also what we call a spirit or a consciousness, instead of hitting and kicking the dead body, this consciousness was spreading flowers all over it and chanting for it and praying for it. When asked why, this consciousness replied, "This person was me. In my previous life, because I had done good, because I had helped other people, because I had tried to make other people happier, my karmic result caused me to become reborn as a heavenly being. That's why, as a heavenly being, I have come back to thank myself, or to thank this dead body for the good deeds he had done." Such will be the differences, as we have just talked about. Your good or bad karmic results could determine your future lives. And from this we can also see that our karmic results are like a force that basically forces us to be reborn even if we do not want to be reborn, and forces us to die even if we do not want to die. And that which is being cycled and recycled in the cycle of rebirth is not actually you, but your karma. Therefore, Buddhist practice places great emphasis on doing good deeds, because the good deeds that we do today will form the foundation for our lives in the future. The right way to understand karma is not to think about what you're getting today, but about what you're actually doing today. That's also a difference between bodhisattvas and human beings. There is a famous saying in Buddhism, 菩萨为因，众生为果. What's this trying to tell us? It tells us that bodhisattvas are aware of the karmic results or karmic effects. That's why they're very careful what they do. They are afraid of creating bad causes. But sentient beings, on the other hand, do not have such a high awareness. Instead, they would not realize or feel the effect of their bad karma until the fruits or the results have ripened. So, while bodhisattvas are afraid of bad causes, sentient beings are afraid of bad results. This would be a difference between a bodhisattva and a sentient or human being. Now, karma operates at more than just one level. Individuals have karma, groups of people and societies have karma, countries have karma, and the earth as a whole has a karma that belongs to all sentient beings that inhabit it. Whenever we form an intention in our minds, we have planted a mental karmic seed. As soon as we act on that intention, we have added more seeds to that first seed. And the first type of karma which we can look at is what we call good karma, bad karma, and neutral karma. Good karma is produced by acts that are intended to help other sentient beings. For example, a smile could make a person feel better, or a helping hand could help a person resolve his problems and worries. Such examples would be good karma. Bad karma, on the other hand, is produced by acts that are intended to harm other beings. For example, violence, stealing, actions like this which make other people unhappy or even harm them will be examples of bad karma. Thirdly, unintentional acts will produce neutral karma. For example, when you carry out an action that is not intended to hurt or benefit anybody. For example, there's an itch on your head, then you could just raise your hand and scratch your head. This is what we call unintentional act. Or you simply suddenly just lift up your hand and do nothing. These will be examples of unintentional acts which will indeed create neutral karma. And as sentient beings, everything we do pretty much will create karmic results because we have not understood the ways of this world properly. And only a Buddha will create no karma at all. The second type of karma which we'll talk about is what we call guiding karma and detailed karma. Guiding karma is also known as basic karma. And it is the karma that determines whether one is born as an animal, a human being, or a ghost, and so on. While detailed karma is a karma that determines what kind of body one will have, or what one's circumstances will be, and so on. In other words, guiding karma determines where we're reborn, while detailed karma determines how we are reborn. For example, guiding karma will determine our rebirth as a human. But detailed karma then determines the conditions of our body or of the family that we're born into. For example, how we look as a human, or the quality we have as a human, or the type of people we are born into a family with, and so on. So these are guiding and detailed karma.